What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Journey with Jazz. It's your girl Jazz, and y'all, we are less than a week away from going to Paris. If you've been following this journey, you know that we're in the process of building our second home. We have a goal, a vision of building a family compound on 10 acres of land. The question is, we're in the process of making this huge purchase. Go back and watch my last video if you want to know more about what the process is like when you have a loan officer, you have an underwriter. You're essentially going through this process of providing all these documents. You have to monitor your spending, make sure you're saving, and your finances are really in a pinch because you want to show them a steady flow of income, little to no debt, and really just make yourself in the best position for them to lend this money to you. That's the process we're currently going through. I've had people ask this question, and I get it. We made this big announcement that we're in the process of buying 10 acres of land, and we're faithing for this, and we're trying to save money and be good financial stewards. So how the heck are we going to Paris in the midst of all of this? The beautiful thing about God, we had this trip planned before any of this came about. If you want to hear how we even came and stumbled upon this 10 acres of land, I'll drop the link in the description box so you can see our first announcement that, hey, we're buying this 10-acre property. Prior to that, we had already booked this international flight, this trip to Paris, France. So how did we even come upon being able to take our entire family to Paris, France? I'm going to answer that question with 6 words. You are who you hang with. Y'all, we have amazing friends. They're our brother and sister in Christ. The reason why I say you are who you hang with, and I've been telling everybody who asks, oh my God, y'all are going to Paris? Are y'all taking the kids? Oh my God, I always wish that I could do something like that. Or that's my dream vacation. They're very inspired by this big thing. And the wild part is, we are not living a lavish life. We are walking by faith, and God is positioning us around the right people. We always talk about at our church, there are men for your life. That means God is placing people in your life who's going to bring an answered prayer. My husband and I put on our vision board early this year, the end of 2024, that not only would we be self-sustaining, require no aid or support, we would be able to have our own land, be able to grow our own fruits and vegetables, and be stewards of that land. We also put on there, we're going to travel. We have pictures of people with suitcases and airplanes, pictures of islands and beautiful water. We knew we were going to travel. We didn't know when, we didn't know how, but what we realize now is God put people in our life who would provide an answer to our prayer. And they just presented the opportunity. Hey, they travel all the time with their kids. Their kids have been in so many countries, and it just blows my mind. Wow, y'all are able to travel around the world with your kids. But it wasn't until we had that relationship with them. I'm over their house and I'm going through photo albums and I'm looking at the kids in all these different countries, building these lifelong memories that some people never get. But even if they get it, it's not until they're retired, they're in their 50s and 60s, that they get the opportunity. And these babies are under 12 years old and have traveled the world. We've already seen how God has been strategic in our relationships. We've been on their podcast. We've been able to tell our story about our marriage, and God has used them and has used us to bless each other tremendously. Here's the thing about people. This is human behavior. Sometimes when we get around people who with one particular area, it might not be everything, but maybe they're a little bit further along than you in a certain area. Sometimes I have that experience as well when I'm with somebody who they may be doing very well or excelling in a certain area of their life. And sometimes as humans, we have a tendency to get jealous. We have a tendency to, they think they all that. They doing this, doing that, whatever. They say that this and that, but they ain't really struggling. They can't relate to what I'm going through. And we're haters. We're haters. And when you start to have jealousy, when you start to hate, you allow there to be friction between you and the other person, when this could be the person that God is using to bless you. This could be the person, the couple, or maybe the significant other, maybe the friend, maybe the coworker, where you've been praying for a certain thing and God is using that person to bless you, to give you information, to give you wisdom, to put you on. But because you're blinded by your own jealousy, your own comparison and coveting, you don't realize that they are an answered prayer. We didn't navigate our friendship in that way. We are inspired by our friends. If there's something they are excelling in, that we desire, that we're praying for, that we have a vision for, we get up under you, we get closer. Do not block your own blessings because you're so jealous. You're envying that somebody has the thing that you're praying for. No, I want to get closer with you. How did you do that? What scriptures did y'all use? What are y'all standing on? When was it challenging? How did you overcome that? Mentor me. There's a humility that you clothe yourself in when you realize somebody is further along than you, or they're walking in a blessing that you're praying for. And that is exactly what we've done as we've navigated our friendship. Because of that, we're going to Paris with them. There's been this mutual exchange of blessings between us and between them, and we're able to share things with each other, encourage each other, offer these resources and opportunities. It's mutual, because instead of standing on the sidelines and hating, we find every reason to draw a wedge between us and other people. But they say that jealousy is secret admiration. You really admire the person. Even with us on this journey and us doing this huge thing, there has been distance between us and other relationships. There has been space. I can tell that where there once were strong friendships and relationships, now there's distance. And it's not blaming anybody, and it's not even saying that anybody is jealous, but I think because people feel like they can't relate, or they doing all that, I don't know nothing about that, I'm just gonna stay in my little corner, or I don't want to hear about that, so I'm just gonna stay in my little corner. But what you really need is access. What you really need is to get up around us and under us so that we can give you the keys. The very thing that you are praying for is supposed to come through the person that you're jealous of. The way that he's going to bless you and answer your prayer may be uncomfortable. It may require you inviting somebody to lunch, or to get coffee, or to do a play date with your kids, because you want to pick their brain about how they were able to get something that you are praying for. So yes, we are going to Paris. Oui, bonjour. Oui. Comment tu vas? Doesn't that sound like Comment tu vas? Like I got that little Comment tu vas? I got that little spurt to it. I've been watching videos. I've been trying to learn how to have a basic conversation in French, just to have fun. And our good friend, she's like, they like when you try to speak their language. Like, don't just assume they want to speak in English. So we're so excited. We have a itinerary of places we want to go. Of course, the Eiffel Tower. But we're also doing Disneyland Paris. This will be my kids' first time for everything, especially her. This will be her first time on a plane. This will be her first time, especially out of the country. This is going to be a big one for her. But even my 6-year-old, this will be his first time on a plane out of the country. So it's a first for everything. First time going to Disney. They have not been to Disney in the States. So it's a first. We had to get their passports for the first time. I'm excited for Paris, but I'm also excited for all the doors this is going to open, because I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Greece. We have our itinerary. We have some things planned, places we want to go, people we want to see, food we want to eat. I've been just binge watching all these travel videos, people exploring Paris, and just learning about the culture, the history. So we're in the process of packing. I've watched videos that say, you want to dress comfortably. There likely is going to be a lot of walking, right? You're in a new place. You may take the metro, you may take taxis, you may take an Uber. For the most part, there probably will be a lot of walking. As far as our flight, we are flying from Norfolk Airport, Norfolk, Virginia. We're going to New York, and then from New York, we're flying to Paris overnight. And so, of course, there was a concern about the littles taking such a long flight, and it's their first flight, how all that is going to go. So y'all pray for us. Once we get in Paris, we have an Airbnb. I didn't realize Airbnbs are international. Things you learn about booking international flights and trips, a lot of things are very similar to traveling in the States, because now we live in a digital age across the world. So that part wasn't too difficult. But what I learned over in Paris, their flats, apartments, Airbnbs, whatever you want to call it, they don't have AC in a lot of them. And we're talking about the peak of July. So I was able to find an Airbnb or flat that did have AC. Another thing we learned is that their stuff is small, right? It's almost like if you stay in the middle of New York City and you find a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, it may fit small because it's right in the middle of the city. So in Paris, the apartment that we're staying at, it's compact. So that's going to be new too, because in the States, we're used to booking Airbnbs and having a lot of space. It's just the 4 of us. So I don't think that it will be a problem. And of course, most of our time we'll spend in the city anyway. So we have a couple of things planned. As I said, Eiffel Tower. I really want to see the Eiffel Tower at night. There's this gleam that rotates at night, almost like a lighthouse, and it glows in the dark. But apparently it's only for a few minutes when the sun sets. So it's like you have to stay up and wait for that to be able to watch that. I think we're going to go up and get a view of the city from the Eiffel Tower. I don't know how my husband feels about that. I don't even know how I feel about that. But, I mean, come on, you're in Paris. You got an opportunity to get a view of the entire city. You can't miss that. We're going to some monuments, museums. Of course, there's so much history in France. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to the food. I think my husband is most excited for the croissants. He loves croissants. That is where they were originated. So you have to go to Paris and get a croissant. I'm also looking forward to the other pastries and baked goods, and just to have that fresh, authentic Parisian experience. Really looking forward to that. Finally, I want to talk about how we are still going to budget and be very cost effective even while we are traveling, because remember, we're buying a house, so there's not money to blow. Even if we weren't buying a house, there's still good reason to, of course, budget and really not blow a lot of money when you travel. So one thing that I've been doing is planning out our commutes. So our commute from the airport to our flat when we get to Paris, planning our commute from getting from this monument, going from the Eiffel Tower to here, going to the local district and where we're going to eat. Of course, I want to keep things spontaneous. And of course, I want to learn things as I go, talk to the locals and see what they think about where we should eat dinner. But also in alignment with my friend's itinerary, planning out meals and planning out travel as much as I can in advance is going to help us save money, because we're not going to be blindsided when we're there. I'm super excited to take you guys to Paris with us. Thank you for tuning into this video. If you've been to Paris and if you have any tips, make sure you drop it in the comments below, or just any suggestions for international flights, passports, all the things. I'm open. Coming up next will be my recap from our first family trip to Paris. So be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications so you don't miss a beat.